Welcome back, everybody, to Flex or Fade. I'm Ethan Sauers with Chris K. Once again, we are doing a Week 12 DraftKings main slate here. This Saturday main slate, we are discussing two wide receivers for Flex or Fade. Both very similar price points, a very realistic 1v1 option that many of you will have going into this weekend. Really, we usually try and do this where we're looking at two guys and whether or not they will be in our pool of consideration for players any given weekend. Full disclosure, though, this week both players are in my pool. Chris will be able to mention whether or not they're in his as well, but I am giving both of them consideration. Just the one that I'm flexing, which, spoiler alert, is Rashod Owens. He will be at much higher ownership than the other one that we discussed this week. So with that out of the way, I'm going to jump right in. We have Rashod Owens for $5,600. Nice mid-level wide receiver this week. He's playing Houston, the 92nd ranked pass defense, 246.3 yards per game they're giving up through the air. And so this week, I think Rashod Owens has a really nice opportunity. He's put up big games earlier this year. He's gone over 100 against Kansas and against Oklahoma, 75 yards against Kansas State, 85 against Central Florida last week. Doesn't have that touchdown equity, which is one thing that you would hope to see in an elite wide receiver. But I think that plays into the fact on why he is a cheaper option heading into this week and right there and much more affordable. So Oklahoma State has plenty of wide receivers. It's been a little sporadic, a little up and down with their usage of this year. But towards the second half of the season, we've really seen Rashod Owens come into his own in that outside wide receiver role that Gundy likes to utilize. As I mentioned, there are other options, and they do rotate those guys around and make sure that plenty of them have opportunities. But this seems like it's going to be a higher scoring game, one that I think could turn into a little bit of a shootout, especially if Donovan Smith is able to get things going on the other side. So Rashod Owens fully in play for me this week. I think he is a great option, and he will be in a good deal of my DFS lineups this week. But Chris, what do you have on this?
I mean, I think you're right? Both these guys, this video here, Rashod Owens, and then the next one we're doing as well, both in play this week. I think they're both great options. I lean the other one more. A lot of what you said, right, with the negative to Rashod Owens would be that touchdown equity. And I think, it's probably not even a him thing as much as it's just an offense thing. Alan Bowman, I think, only has, or that passing offense has 11 passing touchdowns to 19 rushing touchdowns. Part of that's Ollie Gordon. I think part of it is Alan Bowman, like around the end zone. Who do you want to trust? I think I'd probably not trust Alan Bowman all that much. So the touchdown equity hurts. He gets a bunch of targets, no doubt. There's a little bit of some injury thoughts about is Jaden Bray going to be back? I don't think so personally, but it's possible. And then some other, Blaine Green came back and played a little bit, not a lot. So, injury concerns on other guys have me thinking, okay, well, like, what should I do here? And the problem here is they play the 4 p.m. game. So if you did get into pinch, you'd have to pivot to something else. You'd probably actually be stuck with Owens, considering the only other option is Leon Johnson, really, and he would be impacted the same. But I think, like, if you're looking at the two options this week that we're going to be discussing, I'd rather take the guy with the touchdown equity, slightly lower Vegas total, slightly lower target share, but ultimately, I think those, the touchdown equity and the Vegas implied total is enough. That being said, Owens certainly in play. I think 8, 9, 10 targets is quite possible. They're going to want to sling it. He just needs to hit that bigger play to get him in the end zone. But I've been impressed. I've thought that he's been really good since he's taken on more snaps. I think it was that like Thursday or Friday night game against Kansas State where he started to kind of get more usage. But good week for mid-range receivers. Owens will be in my pool, just not as high as my flex this week. So curious to hear what your take is, generally speaking, on Rashod Owens and the Oklahoma State offense this week against Houston. prime matchup. And also then going to be interested to see what you think about the other option this week at receiver in this mid-range pricing. Let us know in Discord and hit us up on Twitter. Thanks, guys.